Who has a spiritual experience they'd like to share with us?
I do.
Okay, very good. Can you speak up louder, sister? Please.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like today, I was laying down with Abby, but sometimes I see like light beams, like they're waving, like they're waving at me.
I'm glad to hear your tone. Please slow down and speak up a lot louder, please.
Okay. Sometimes when laying down, I close my eyes. I sometimes, rarely, I may see like a light beam just waving at me.
Okay. At the end of a tunnel or just in your room or what?
Just in my head.
Uh-huh. Can you describe the being?
It's white. Like a silhouette, whatever, like white, like a light beam just waving. And I just smile. It happened before a while ago. I told you about it, about last year, I think it was.
Okay, waving like to try to get your attention or what?
Waving like...
Or beckoning you to come that way, or what do you get out of it?
Just waving like hi. I know I had a death in an extended family yesterday, and I was thinking about her. But I know they don't transition that quick to do that, but I just know that it was waving like hi, you know. And I like, you know...
Oh, you hear that. Now, this person that made the separation, were you close?
Somewhat, in a way, yeah.
Okay, what was she to you?
Say it again?
Uh-huh.
What was the question you said? You asked me?
I said, what was she to you?
My sister's husband's mother, and I met her in college. She went to the library, and we always...
Okay.
Yeah, stuff like that.
And how old was she?
Maybe like in her 70s. But this happened before. Like I said, I had about a year ago, I saw a sham, and I saw some light beams coming out. It was waving, you know, and I waved back in my mind. Like a silhouette, like a light beam.
All right, you saw light beams waving. Was it like behind your eye, like behind your right eye or your left eye, when they were closed?
They were closed, always closed, yes.
Okay, you know what I mean? I'm saying sometimes behind your eyes, a screen pulls up kind of like in a movie theater and you can see things. Was it like that?
I just know that, like sometimes when I do close my eyes, see through my eyelids and my eyes are closed, things, you know, like a room pop up, you know, different objects pop up. But I know when I see these called light beams, like they're waving like hi, you know, I wave back. And you know, that's it. I guess on several occasions, I guess, but I'm still trying to, you know, figure it out. But like they're waving.
Yeah.
And I say, you know, hi in my mind, and I wave back in my mind.
Right. I'm just wondering if you get a sense of what it means. Are they trying to beckon you to come forward, or are they just saying hi? That's what you're saying, really, you think?
Just say hi, you know, I wave back. It's not like you know, moving their hand towards, like, you know, hi, wave like hi. And I say, okay, hey.
I'm trying to get more detail. Does it seem like it's a male being or a female?
I just see a shape. I just see a silhouette, you know, a white, you know, it's like a mist white silhouette.
I follow you. Well, I'm just glad that it's part of the awakening. I wish I could give you more information, except I didn't share the experience with you, but I'm very happy that you shared it, okay? It is thought provocative. Okay. Shukran Jizilen Ashkaruka. All right. Katat, you had a question? I'll do my best.
Yes. I had a question about the grooves in the brain that we learn about from Panabad. So we know that when form habits, right? Over time, they make an impression on your brain and form grooves. I remember being taught that at one point, correct?
Yes.
All right, so then the question is, how can you reverse that?
Well, you can't reverse it because it makes a permanent impression upon you. But you can divert the thought. That's all you can do is, okay, are you troubled by a certain experience, the repetition of it?
Not necessarily, but just noticing habits. Habits that realizing that it must be connected to that phenomenon right there with the grooves in the brain.
Okay, let me make sure that everybody else is in tune with what it is you're asking me. What we're speaking about is basically habit or an experience, like you live in a city and you're driving by a store at night and a sister walks out the store with a bright yellow dress, and in a drive-by shooting she's shot by some gang members accidentally and forfeits her life. She passes away by that, and she's so traumatized by that, it creates an impression on her mind. And many times at night, that time of year, people drive by that store, and many of them report that they see a lady with a yellow dress coming out of the store on that night. It's because it set an impression in her mind that created a groove on her consciousness, kind of like when you used to scratch a record in the old days. And then when you get to that part of the record, it would just repeat, ba-doop, 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 ba-doop. It couldn't get past that place. People are like that. Traumatic experiences create a groove in their consciousness, so that when things happen, traumatic events that shock them or really impress them, they can't get past it. And so they keep returning to the same place over and over again. And we have to make sure that we don't let this experience on earth create a groove in our mind that makes us keep returning over and over again to the same life cycle. Just keep returning over and over again, and can't break that cycle to ascend. All right? Now, again, now Katat, with you, I didn't share that experience with you, so it's hard for me to throw light in blind corners. But what I will do is that we'll try to gather the information I need to give you a reading to try to give you the ability to throw more light in blind corners if you have a little patience with me. All right?
All right.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Love you. Next person with a question or an experience.
Hey, Raul back.
Hey, glad to hear you, TT.
All right. The information we teach now, is it still called right knowledge, Nawapu, or is it called something else?
What do you mean, the doctrine?
I mean, the doctrine that you teach that we know, is it still good to call it right knowledge, Nawapu, or
yes,
we got to call it something
exactly. Yes.
Okay. And what was Josh, the one that called Jesus? What was his real name again? I want to write that down so I know his real name.
It depends on the speaker. But Yahshua HaMashiach. Definitely not Jesus, because there's not even a J in Hebrew.
Right. So Yahshua.
Yeah, and Horus by the Egyptians. Muslims call him Isa. Isa. And Latin people refer to him as Jesus. Jesus. The Greeks call him Ios.
And when you said the first one, you said Yahshua.
Sananda by the Anunnaki.
You said the first one was Yahshua what?
HaMashiach. Jesus the Messiah.
Right. 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 Got it.
All right. What is it you're digging for, Terry?
No. Sometimes when I'm talking with people and I try to tell them the letter J didn't exist 600 years ago and his name couldn't have been Jesus. I know it's Yahshua. I always use Yahshua and Esau. That's what has another name.
Okay, now you say 600 years ago.
I mean, the letter J is less than 600 years old, right? It was invented by the French.
Okay, yeah, okay. I understand what you're saying now.
So they didn't have no letter J. That's why I try to tell people don't talk to them when they mention Jesus.
Well, there's still no J in the Hebrew language.
Right, there's no J at all.
Right, so the one that you're making reference to was of the Israelite tribes, the tribes of Israel. So his name couldn't have been Jesus if there was no J, and still is no J in Hebrew. You don't have to go back 600 years to discover that. You can just do some research as far as languages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, but to me, that points to the reality that Christianity as a religion is false. Because the central figure that's charismatic to Christianity is Christ. And his name is really, as far as Christ is, Christos, really, in Greek. And it's not, there is no Jesus. So they're calling the man's name wrong. You follow me? And they've been doing it repetitiously and knowing that the people that established the Christian faith did that purposely because it's easy to figure that in all the years that there's been established religion called Christianity or reverse for Antichrist, that these people knew that that was the wrong name they were calling on, so that the congregation is being purposely misdirected. You follow what I'm saying?
All the way.
You're right. In other words, if you're at the fair with your family and you get separated from them in the crowd and they find a high place and they see you in the crowd and holler down, "Hey, Willie!" What do? Do you stop and turn around, or do you just keep moving forward?
Stop and turn around.
No, you don't stop and turn around, Terry, because that's not your name. You're not Willie.
I thought you were talking to Willie. I got you. Yeah, right. I wouldn't. I keep walking because my name is not Willie. That's right.
Exactly right. So they got people calling on the wrong name by saying Jesus, because they don't want a response from the Most High or His Son. You follow me? They want your prayers to be in vain. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
All the way.
Right. So it is a deceptive religion. All right. Katat, let me know when you're ready and you have the question arranged in your mind in regards to your experience of the groove in the mind in a yes or no form so I can pull a stone for you. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Okay. I'm shaking up the stones. While he's thinking, who has the next question?
I have a question.
Very good. Just be loud and clear and slow.
All right. The question is, in one of Doc's books, it mentioned about someone having a little small hole on their earlobe, like a pinhole.
Yes.
I forgot, what's the purpose of that? I know it's something dealing with the shams and them being something of that sort. But I really forgot about it. I mean, what it really meant in detail.
That hole is there. He taught that it was a mark for certain people, because at the time that the Elohim try to contact people to give them directions as to where to be when it's time to gather to be taken up, that those people with the hole in their ear receive contact from them directly through tones, a frequency. For example, when you have on your television an alert that comes on like, had this been an actual experience, you would have been given directions as to where to go to be safe, or instructions, in other words, from the broadcaster. And that's what the Most High has established as the proper protocol in regards to humanity to receive light messages from the Elohim is a frequency. And the reason for that is that they use tones rather than outward forms of communication. Like, they wouldn't come over the radio or the television or give you a phone call like in established forms of communication, because everybody in the public would have access to that information. Meaning that if the Elohim contacted the 144,000 and gave them specific directions as to what city and what street corner or what field to meet in and what time, the problem with that being is that if the adversary knew that, of course they couldn't stop the Elohim from meeting you at that place and that time, but they could very well possibly stop you from getting to them. You follow me? So they contact you in the spirit so that only you would know the instructions, which means it's very essential, it's vitally important for everybody to raise up in their consciousness and vibrations and stay in tune with the Elohim and be on that channel to be ready to receive that light information when it comes in. You follow? Because if you're not spiritual, you will definitely miss the pickup every time, because you would never be tuned into the Elohim, but dialed into the Tamahu or to the system, the government or whatever, and be left behind. You follow me?
Yes.
But now, truthfully, he said that at another time that was just cosmetic, that there was no reason, but that some people were just born with a hole in their ear, you know, so sometimes he taught in a very confusing manner. You follow me, sister?
Yes.
Now, he may have been, I think, telling the truth the first time and then covering up his message, because he always tried to obscure his messages to the world. For example, in the books that he wrote, he would have a sequence that only the receivers would be in sync with. In other words, he would put out a book and it would be number 19. Next time he put out a scroll, it would be number 6. Next scroll might be number 54, right? So that the sequence could only be established by those that were serious students. You follow what I mean? Because he wouldn't write the books like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so that any novice could pick up on exactly what the information was in a direct way to follow the breadcrumbs. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
So he wouldn't have a sequence that regular people could understand. But only you could, and you have to learn how to cross-reference his books. In other words, if you're asked a question about right knowledge, after reading a large number of the scrolls, you find that when you see teachers that teach the Wapic or teach this right knowledge, that they'll often refer to, oh, was that information in scroll 13? And somebody will say, yeah. And then, was that in 24 also? Yeah. Because they know how to refer to which books, even out of sequence. They would say, is that in book 13? Yeah. And in also book 6. And in book 54, right? Because in their mind, they're starting to catch on to the sequence that he's putting down in a spiritual sense, even if it's subliminally or subconsciously. You follow?
Yeah.
He's a master teacher. You follow what I'm saying, sister? As well,
Yes.
But he's never, ever trying to teach the adversary. So they never pick up what it is he's putting down. They really believe that when he's writing a book on a particular subject, that is random. You follow? What I'm saying is that as a master teacher, when he writes scroll 54, many times the information is directly connected to scroll number 3, which means that when he wrote scroll number 3, he had scroll 54 in mind that early. You follow?
Gotcha.
Am I losing you?
No, I definitely understand. I get it.
But I can't understand your response. You have to speak up loud and slow and clear.
I definitely understand. Now I get it.
Okay, very good, very good. Katat, are you ready for your pull?
Yes.
All right. Wow. You got the blank stone, son.
Okay.
Now, I'll give you your reading in just a second here.
I think that's into the void.
If I recall, that's the very last stone.
It is.
Okay. I very seldom get that people pull that stone. All right. The name of your stone is El Gayub. The unknowable blank. The destiny. Blank is the end. Blank the beginning. This is the true stone of total trust and should be taken as exciting evidence of your most immediate contact. With your own true destiny, which time and again rises like the phoenix from the ashes of what we call fate. The blank stone can signify a death, but that death is usually symbolic and may relate to anything in your life as you are living it now. Giving up control is the ultimate challenge for the spiritual warrior. Here, the unknowable informs you that it is in motion in your life. In that blankness is held undiluted potential, at the same time pregnant and empty. It comprehends the totality of being, all that is to be actualized. Drawing a blank stone brings to surface our deepest fears. Will I fail? Will I be abandoned? Will it all be taken away? And yet all our fertile dreams are held within that blankness. Willingness and permitting are what this stone requires. For how can you exercise control over what is not yet in form? This stone often calls for no less than an act of courage than the empty-handed leap into the void. Drawing it is a direct test of faith. On one sense, the blank stone represents the path of fate or qadar, the sum total of what you have done and the same limits on which you are and will become. At the same time, this stone teaches that the very depths of all qadar or faith shift and evolve as you shift and evolve. Nothing is predestined. There is nothing that cannot be avoided. Again, let me say, I think that's part of the answer. There is nothing that cannot be avoided, including the repetition of a groove in your mind, I would imagine. And if indeed there are matters hidden by the masters, you need only remember what beckons is the creative power of the unknown. Whenever you draw the blank stone, take heart. Know that the work of self-change is progressing in your life. All right? And it goes on to say stages of the self. We are all teachers. What we teach is what we need to learn. So we teach it over and over again until we learn it. Dear Cosmos, and overstand and remember that each stone is linked to the next, not merely by meaning, but through a progressive development from stone to stone. The symbols themselves represent the 25 steps of the self, growing into wholeness. When reviewing the stones, I opened my stone notes, and starting with Nasuf, the stone of the self, I jotted down the essential meaning. For each stone, every stone fell right into place. Then coming to the blank stone, I completed my notes. I observed their pattern, listening to their rhythm. Not only did the pattern continue as each stone related to the next, but it fell into 5 clusters or acts. Here then are the stones divided into 5 acts, and the play of the self coming to the self. All right? Now I could tap that message with for you, and it sure sounded confusing to the rest of us, but I hope that it shed some light on your question. Did it do that?
Yeah, there were some key words in there. Definitely.
Some keys. I love you. All right. Amanda, would you like me to give you a drawing in regards to the light being that's waving at you?
That would be great.
Well, I'd love to do that. And for the listening audience, I would like you to understand that in pulling the stones, it's a way for you to overtly or openly contact your own higher self with the understanding that all the answers that you seek are within yourself. Right?
True.
So it's not like you putting your head up and looking autonomously at the sky and asking God to answer your question. But the real information is received by one who understands that God is their own higher self. And you're asking the question of yourself. All right? So I'll shake the bag of stones, Urim and Thummim, and you all can understand the title by looking in your King James Bible. Type in the Google search bar, Urim and Thummim, King James, and then type in Urim and Thummim, and it's spelled U-R-I-M, and Thummim is T-H-U-M-M-I-M, and you find it. These stones are referenced in many places in the Bible in regards to the Levitical priest of the tribes of Israel, of whom the head was the elder brother of Moses, Aaron, that they had a specific garb that they wore in relation to be able to carry the Ark of the Covenant that was given to them by the Elohim as a communication device, in the same spirit as the cell phones that you all possess right now, so that when the people had questions, they would go to the Levitical priest, and only those priests could enter into the Holy of Holies and contact the Elohim for a response through the Ark of the Covenant. And you all are doing that right now by requesting that I pull a stone for you, which was the way of the Levitical priest to contact what they thought then was a god or gods that was separate from them, up and out there somewhere. But you should have evolved to the point of conscious awakening now to know that you're contacting your own higher self. So can you arrange the question that you have in regards to the visitor that comes in the white mist and waves at you sky in a yes or no? Like, are you trying to beckon me or whatever it is, yes or no, or whatever the way you want to get the question, receive information? Let me know when you're ready for a response.
Just a yes or no question. I just want to say what I need to know right now.
No, we don't need to know what the question is. Only you need to know, because the answer is going to be one that's directly to you from the higher self. Just let me know when you got the question arranged in your mind to receive the information in a yes or no form.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. I'm about to pull. All right. I have another unusual stone here. Let me try to find that. You all got some unusual, y'all drawing some unusual stones tonight. And if anybody else wants to get a reading about something specific, the time is now, right now. To
I want to
do
get
that.
a reading, okay.
All right. Just a minute. All right. Your stone is Gawu. Strength, manhood, womanhood as wild ox. The stone of termination. That could be something in regard to the passing of the being you're speaking about. The stone of termination and new beginnings. Drawing it indicates that the life you have been living has outgrown its form. Amen. It must die. Now we're making reference not to you personally, but the life that you have been living must die. It must die so that life energy can be released in a new birth, a new form. Gawu is a stone of passage, and as such, part of the cycle of self-transformation. Positive growth and change, however, may involve passage into darkness as part of the cycle of perpetual renewal. As in nature, the progression consists of 5 parts: death, decay, fertilization, gestation, rebirth. Events occurring now may well prompt you to undergo a death within yourself, since self-change is never restrained or restrained by force. We are always free to resist, self-change. Remain mindful, however, that the new form, the new life, is always greater than the old. Prepare then for opportunity disguised as loss. It can involve the loss of someone, which you referenced, or something to which there is an intense emotional bond, and through which you are living a part of your life, a part that must be retrieved so that you can live it out for yourself. Now, in some way, that bond is being severed, a relationship radically changed, a death experienced. Seek among the ashes and discover a new perspective and a new birth. The original symbol for Puwa was a wild ox. The aurochs, when the wild ox was domesticated, a nearly impossible task, it can transport heavy loads. Learn to adapt yourself to the demands of such a creative time. Firm principles attached to this stone, and at the same time, humility is called for. Since in order to rule, you must learn how to serve. This stone advises you that your soul and the cosmos support the new growth. All right? Now, I understand about the attachment and the severance and seeking among the ashes, in that many times when we have established close relationships or bonds with people, family members, and friends, that we go to their funerals, for example, and the part of us that belongs to the person that passed away is when they drop the coffin into the grave, that part of you, the emotional bond you have with that person, is buried along with them. And every time you attend such of a funeral, that you lose a little part of yourself that's buried with the dead. So what the advice is for me is not to establish these close bonds and emotional ties in a way that you feel inseparable, like you feel like you're so attached to a person that you can't emotionally handle a separation. Because that means when they do pass, that the part of you that you have given to them is also buried with them. And you feel a sense of emptiness or loss, like an amputated limb, to try to give you a physical perspective about that spiritual direction. But I hope, sister, that shines some light in dark corners for you in regards to your experience, okay?
No, quick.
Do you get it? Okay, very good. All right, and I hope that Sky, what is your Nawapic name? Could you repeat, sister? Stop playing with the phone, creature. All right, Kim.
Rahubat, this attack.
Rahubat attack. How things going in Chi-Town, Chicago?
It is all love. It is all love.
Very good. I'm glad to hear your tone. I'm often very concerned about you. All right, Kim in Florida. You said you wanted a pulling. You wanted to access the stones. You have your question together that you want to receive a yes or no answer from your own higher self in regards to?
Okay, I have my question.
You have it arranged to receive the answer in a yes or no?
Yes.
All right, then I'll pull. I want y'all to understand, too, that my stones that I have were given to me not by the Nawapians out of a Nawapian store, but by Panabab Yanun personally. Now, when you had the Yerman Thummim book, for those of you that received it from me or from him, in the introduction, he revealed that he received his first bag of stones out of his niche. In other words, when we went to the school of Islam, we would always have a niche that faced the east that we meditated and prayed towards. And he, during one of these meditation sessions, opened his eyes and he saw the bag of Urim and Thummim stones that were given to him from out the spiritual realm from the Most High, sitting in that niche. Well, when he gave me my stones, they weren't created in the world, but my stones that I'm reading to you all from, he received from out of the niche that he got his stones out of and handed them to me directly, hand to hand. All right? So now, with that in mind, Kim, I'll look for your stone.
Okay.
All right. I'm just trying to give you all some history about these stones for people that are here and patiently listening to the readings and are confused about what's happening. All right? Because we're here to remove confusion, not to create it. We're here to answer questions and not generate questions. All right. Let me see how your stone is situated here. The name of your stone is Sabu, right? Now reversed, a warning against overreach, excessive striving, a counsel against trying to exceed your own strength or operate beyond the power that you have pondered to date in your life. Sabu reversed often indicates a failure to draw upon the wisdom of instinct. As a result, the intuitive side of your nature may be dulling, leaving you out of balance. What is called for now is to go within, to honor the receptive side of your warrior nature. I also feel, Kim, the need to give you the inverse reading of this stone. All right. Sabu, pour forth, flow, water, that which conducts. And that said, I'd like you all in Florida, especially in Middle Florida, to stay on alert, high alert in regards to that storm. And I say that even though it may be strong, not as a wind event, which people frequently associate with a hurricane, but my mind is constantly impressed in that regard, and to the fact that in many places around St. Pete and Tampa, they're speaking about a possibility of a 20-foot wall of water, right? Water. That encourages me to tell you all to seek high ground, or to go to a place that's well above the possible depths of the incoming water, right? Even though I know that in regards to people that are very seriously with me and with us in regards to the successful outcome of this mission, and not the joke practitioners or the the hierarchs that are like the old demons of Indian folklore that are trying to pull jokes and mischief like Lukey, know that my hand is constantly over you and you'll be safe, regardless of the unfortunate outcome that may descend on others. But in the event that you are confused and that you plan with something that you don't understand or overstand at this point, I do suggest to you to seek cover. All right. Pour forth, flow, water, that which conducts. Unseen powers are active here. Creative and fertile powers of nature. The attributes of this stone are water, fluidity, the decline and flow of tides, and emotions, careers, and relationships. Sabu fulfills our needs to immerse ourselves in the experience of living without having to evaluate or overstand. It speaks to the desire for comfort and the satisfaction of emotional needs, to the lunar side of our nature. For a while, the sun strives for differentiation. The moon draws us towards unity and merging. This stone often signals the time for cleansing, for reevaluation, reorganizing, realigning. A stone of deep knowing. Sabu may call you to study spiritual matters in readiness for self-transformation. Success now lies in contacting your intuitive knowing and attuning to your own rhythms. A stone of the self relating rightly to the self. Sabubeb signifies what alchemists call the sacred marriage in fairy tales. It is the end where the hero and heroine live happily ever after. All right, Kim, I hope you received that message.
Yes, I did.
Very good. All
Thank
right,
you, son.
while I have the setup here, is anybody else wanting to receive a reading before we go into the next chapter?
Yes, I would like one. Amun-Rayay, a.k.a. Sonata.
All right. Glad to hear your tone. Okay, you have the question that you're trying to ask, but it's very important that you establish in your mind a format that when receiving the information, know it'll come to you in a yes or no form. Let me know when you're ready for that.
I'm ready.
All right. I'm pulling. All right, I have your stone. And I hope everybody understood the history of my personal bag of stones. Not to say that my stones would be different from yours in any significant way, but I did want you to know the background of the stones that I have. All right. Your stone is Safor. Journey, communication, union, reunion. This stone is concerned with communication, with the attunement of something that has two sides, two elements, and with the ultimate reunion that comes at the end of the journey, when what is above and what is below are united and of one mind, the journey is the soul's journey. Moreover, the approach of that which is above and that which is below is realized from innermost sentiment rather than through the force of circumstances. A simple prayer for the soul's journey is, and I want you all to understand that during these readings, that if they're in your earshot and you hear them, that many times that the information is directed at untangling some knotty experience or question in your life as well. O omnipotent and all of your heavenly host, O peaceful one, for indeed by you comes bliss, and the bliss which is in you is your peace. O peaceful one, and send me your helpers in peace. This is a prayer of peace. Such a prayer of intention is proper on almost any occasion, and it is particularly suitable as a preamble of healing. Sapphire is another of the stones in the cycles of self-transformation. Inner worth mounts here, and at such a time, we must remember that we are not expected to rely entirely upon our own power, but rather to ask what constitutes right action. You can acquire the answer to that question through prayer, by addressing the witness self, the teacher within. Once you are clear on what right action is, you can let right action flow through you without insisting on movement. Be happy to just wait, and while waiting, continue to avoid resistance as the obstructions give way. All remorse arising from trying to make it happen disappears. As always, the journey is towards self-healing, self-changing, and union. You are concerned here with nothing less than unobstructed, perfect union. But the union of heaven and earth cannot be forced. Keep within your limits. Regulate any excesses in your life. Material advantages must not weigh heavily on this journey of the self towards the self. Trust your own process. That is the essence of this stone. Keep on cutting away illusions. Stand apart even from like-minded others. The notion of strength and numbers does not apply at this time, for this part of the journey cannot be shared. Innermost feelings spontaneously experienced is what is asked of you now. Sapphire urges you to undertake your journey, your quest, and if you have already begun, to continue. All right? Okay. Now, Anukas, you have a question. Could you repeat that question for us?
Yes, my question is, what does this second death mean?
What does the second death mean? All right, I'll repeat that at birth, when the child is separated from the mother and the cord is cut, that when the spirit attaches to the flesh, that is the beginning of the creation of the living soul, and therefore the beginning of your zero time reference here on the physical plane, solid, axial, and time-bound, Nasut. And during the course of your life, that journey that you call life on earth, which is inevitably met at the end of your journey by what we describe as a physical death, that would constitute the second death, which would open the doorway scripturally to hell. But the second death is not experienced by spiritual adepts that receive the information through a spiritual master sent here by the Most High that has that direct connection to El-Hayu, the life giver, that you are indeed a spiritual being having a physical experience, and that your body is no more than the fungus clinging to the light. In other words, you have learned through that connection to turn yourself inside out and your perspective of who and what you are. So you no longer think of yourself as a physical being that possesses a soul or spirit or an etheric aspect or ankh, as some vague peripheral aspect of yourself, like a ghostational aperture, but that you realize fully that you are the inner being, or the spiritual, the real Trinity, the Ankh-Ban-Ka, the inner being of the etheric soul and spirit as the real you, and that the body is only an outward reflection that is without repose when the real you is separated from it. Just like you were a whole light being before you descended down into the flesh. Once you establish and reconnect with the reality of who and what you really are, then the second death would no longer be applicable in your particular case, because you would then realize that what they call death is not finality, but only a rebirth in the spirit. That's why also in the scripture it makes reference frequently to being reborn. They don't mean in the flesh, but reborn in the spirit. I've been reborn. Reborn in that you are now awakened or reawakened to the reality that you are the being, the higher self inside of the flesh, and not the outward appearance that you see in the mirror. And that the inner being is immortal, a firm fixity and enduring, unperishable. And when you have attained that height of conscious vibration and awareness, you are truly indeed blessed, because from the point of the receipt of that fact, you are immortal and belong to the realm of deities, right? Now, the unfortunate among people are those that take very lightly their responsibility to reestablish their spiritual link between the higher and lower self, between that which is above and that which is below, and set their sights only on their physical connection. For them, the second death would be a totality of what they are, so that in essence they would imagine when the body dies, the real them, the enigma, would die and be buried along with it, and that physical death would constitute for them a hell. In the reality, they would realize at some point that even though the body died, they're still conscious. You've seen pictures, horror pictures, of people that have physically died and been embalmed, worked on by morticians, placed in coffins, and while people are coming to view the body at a wake, for example, they're screaming out, "I'm in here, I'm alive, why can't anybody hear me? I'm here, don't bury me, I'm alive, I'm alive." But they can't free themselves from this decaying flesh, because they never learned to come out of it. They never walked and took seriously the guidance of a spiritual master from on high. And not no nigger or cracker on earth, pretending to be something that they're not, and they dress sharply or whatever attracted to them in the physical sense, shiny red shoes like the Pope on a cooling board or whatever the problem is, and they got lost into the physical world and were thereby deceived by it, so that when the body died, that they imagine that was the end for them, and not just a separation or a rebirth into the spiritual realm, into eternity. So that's what the second death, that's the essence of it and the meaning of it. That's the danger of it and the blessing of the knowledge of it, and how John 8:32 makes reference to know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Or when it speaks of scripturally that the Messiah Jesus would make clear to you what death entails, so that you would be freed from the fears of death with the information, the factual right knowledge, that there is no death for a spiritual being, because the spirit and the soul and the etheric aspect of your consciousness never dies, but has experience after experience in the physical sense. All right? Now, it also makes reference to that those of you that are blind in this, so shall you be in the next, which is making reference to those of you that are religious and under the spell of religion, misguided, unfortunate souls, that you will experience one of those hells, because you never took seriously your responsibility to reestablish your link from on high. Therefore, if you didn't accept that responsibility, you'll never acquire the ability to respond to that event. And therefore, you would trap yourself in the mud of your own flesh, and your spirit would stay attached to your body, even submerged in the grave, and have to experience the deterioration, the maggots, and the separation from everybody else inside the belly of the earth, and total darkness, cut off forever from light, love, and the existence of the Creator, which of course is your own higher self. Is that clear to everybody? If not, if you have questions, now's the time.
I have a question regarding that.
All right, speak up.
Yes.
And slow.
All right.
You got to speak a lot louder, please. A lot louder.
Hold on. Okay. I have a question regarding what you just said. I know one class you said that we can help them with fragmentation.
Say it again.
I know one class you were saying that we can help those with, at least with fragmentation.
Those with transportation. Fragmentation. What about fragmentation?
You said that we can help them with the fragmentation of the transition of them, transition, what have you. Where your class is a long time ago.
You mean in a personal sense?
Like
you're speaking about
last breath.
You're not loud or clear enough, but I'm trying to understand you, understand you. Are you speaking about a personal separation?
Let's say like a family member is separating, right? And they may be attached
Wait, I don't understand.
Called fragmentation. Fragmentation is when they have attached certain things in the world.
Transmutation? Fragmentation.
Yes.
When you attach yourself to the things of the world?
You were saying that we can help them with fragmentation.
What?
Those that have transitioned.
We can help people with fragmentation?
Yes.
I don't understand the question.
Okay, I'll go back and find my notes and I ask you later.
No. I want to clear this up now because now you got other people curious.
Okay, I have to look.
Just reword it. Just reword what you're trying to communicate. You're losing me with the word fragmentation. Go ahead.
That fragmentation means, yes, some attachments to the world, correct? Which will keep you bound here.
That's not my understanding of it. So, if you mean attachment to the world, just say attachment to the world. Now, what are you making reference to in regards to attachment to the world?
Like it could be like drugs, sex, things like that.
Okay, so are you speaking in a personal? You talking about yourself personally, or people in general?
In general, I'm fascinated with death and dying. And one of the doctors take the etheric planes. He talks about fragmentation. And at one point, you mentioned the same thing about
let's not use the word fragmentation, please, with me, because you're losing me there. If you're saying connection to the world, I'll overstand that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I don't know how I can reword it. Let me get.
Well, what does fragmentation mean to you? Does it mean connection to things in the world? Well, let's just say connection to things in the world.
Yes. And you said in one class we could help you with fragmentation. With that part.
Okay.
Okay, connection.
I said I could help you with connection. Are you saying that I said that I could help people with their to break their ties or connections with the things in the world?
No, you said that we can help our family members with that. So let me go back and read my notes. Maybe
okay, no.
But
let's throw light in blind corners. We open that door. Now let's close it. Okay, you said that I could teach you all to help yourselves with divesting yourself of serious connections or ties with the world
and family members once they transition. Let me find my notes because I made a misword.
And wait, I'm not going to leave these people hanging like that. Is what I'm saying, sister.
And I don't want to confuse.
It's not like it's just you and I on the phone talking one-on-one. This is a class.
I understand. I want to make sure that I'm asking the right question.
Well, you're asking the right question, but you have to ask it in the right way. Because referring to your notes, if you keep using the word fragmentation, you're going to continuously lose me. That's what I try to emphasize to people. You have to make sure that I'm clear about what it is you're asking in order to receive right knowledge as an answer. In fact, I'm sure that you're losing more than just me by using the word refragmentation and it's like that. Nobody knows what you mean in reference to that word. But yes.
You said, no, I'm just trying to find it. I don't want to confuse nobody.
Yeah, well, just stop saying refragmentation and things like that. That's not. That's not the word that I would have used. I would never have used a word like that in regards to helping people break their ties with the world in a spiritual sense. In other words, I don't want to employ all of our time on trying to be clear about the question as opposed to utilizing that time for me to give you all a clear answer.
That's why I want to go back and look at my notes. I know how to ask the question. So can I give me some time to do that? And I can.
Does anybody here understand what she's asking me, please?
No, sir.
I heard she was saying referring to the last class, your last class.
No, that's not. We are the last class. Okay, the other brother before you. What were you saying, brother?
So what she's asking is, when somebody's transitioning, we can help them transition.
Okay, you mean make a successful transition by making sure they're clear that they're not part of the physical world, so they wouldn't get trapped or left behind. Right.
So that they wouldn't.
Well, the answer to that is simple. Stay in tune with these classes. I am sent from on high, from the Most High. I am not a resident. I am a visitor. And it doesn't mean that I'm just merely a cosmos in the sense of what you think of as an extraterrestrial or a brother from another planet. I'm also from another dimension, another place and time. I'm from on high. I'm a heavenly being that was sent down here to earth to help the fortunate reestablish their link to the eternal higher self. And this information through spiritual packages and through question and answer classes Q&A will reestablish your link on high and make clear to you what your responsibility is in regards to not becoming permanently attached to a fleeting reality, a dying world. When you see the signs around you, if you are indeed awakening, you'll know, for example, that when you have storm after storm over and over again, which historically has not been the case, that there's something different in the world, the way the geography is changing, and South America is too close to Africa, and that if you do some simple research by typing in right now, after all the historic records kept by NOAA, the National Weather Institute, or however the call letters, what they mean is that this is the hottest summer ever recorded on record, and that has been increasingly hotter every year than it was the year before, which means that the storms and tornadoes and hurricanes and earthquakes and all these violent weather, the flood and what have you, in other words, what used to be described as 500 or 1,000-year events are happening annually now. So whatever used to happen in the weather, in a violent weather event that was once every 1,000 or 500 years, is now happening 2 and 3 times a year. There are problems with personal relationships like father and son, brother and sister. There are wars and rumors of wars and plagues in the earth. All these are signs of the end of this world as you know it, and its gradual diminution. And that for those of you that are intuitive and walking with a real spiritual master and not some clown parading in a zoot suit, looking shiny and trying to look like a symbol of spiritual with a tall hat and nothing under it, that you will be saved in these days when times are seemingly beyond repair. That's what I'm saying. You can't even ask these people that you reference as guides the questions you ask me in regards to life after death or what is heaven and hell, because they don't know through the practical reality that for the honest among them, they've never experienced death. They've never been on the other side, or they weren't sent from heaven. They don't have the answers to your questions through experience, which is one of the prerequisites of right knowledge, is experience. Right? I have that experience. And I can give you definitive and truthful and factual answers about your questions in regards to things that are unknown to you at this point in your journey. That if they were known, that it would remove the fear from you, because that's why a child is afraid to go into a dark room. It's not because they're afraid of the darkness, but that the darkness may shroud something hidden that they could perceive as dangerous in the room. What I'm saying is that people are afraid of the unknown. That's the fear. And to make all things known that were previously unknown removes the fear, such as the fear of death, from them, and will make them free. That's why it states in the scripture that those of you that believe in Jesus, or even unto his name, unto you give he they powers as gods. And unto those of you that believe in Jesus, or even unto his name, unto you give he they eternal life. Eternal life. And not even death can snatch you from his hand. So therefore there would be no reason to fear drowning by storm, for example. Because to you, you would know that even if your body perished, that would not be an end, but another true beginning or rebirth into the spirit from which you descended, because you had lives before you came here, and you will have lives, most of you that are with me and listening and really committing yourself to the to the mission in every sense of the word, putting the mission above all the things in the physical life, including your personal relationships, your money, and all the things that we've been taught to believe are sacrosanct, and understand that there's nothing that supersedes in importance or urgency your commitment to the mission on high, which is to successfully reestablish your link in regards to that which is above to that which is now below. Right?
I have a question.
I'll do my best, Ann. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Glad to hear your tone.
Thank you. Yes, this is in regards to Lemuria, the continent supposedly disappear. I'd like to know, will we coming back? Is the continent still there, or and is it going to go back into geographical form?
Let's be clear first, Anne, about everything is spiritual. Like, for example, your own self. You are enigma. You are a spiritual being in every sense of the word that is projecting a physical experience. So the continent of Lemuria was part of your experience at some point in your journey. Right now, to put it in physical terms, the children of Mu were attacked by disagreeable beings, and I can go into the history of that being beings that relocated from Mars to Earth, the planet of Mars, and reverses wars, and they established Mu and Lemuria, Atlantis, and many places like that, and that they were attacked by the sons of Canaan, by these negative white beings with this dark information, and that the resulting war, what it was is they went to places like the land of Egypt, and they could see from a distance in the desert these giant edifices like pyramids that were coated in pure white limestone and crystal that reflected as light over the desert, and must have appeared to them as strange anomalies or something from the heavens that they didn't understand. And like little children or animals striving for consciousness, they of course feared that, like a child of darkness, anything that they didn't understand. And like barbarians, their response was to attack. And they attacked it. They would attack places like Lemuria and Atlantis in their ignorance. And that conflict caused it a shift in the axis of the whole planet Earth. So now Earth has shifted to 23 1/3 degrees off of its natural axis. But every equinox, that shift is being righted. That's why you have these continental drifts of the changes in the positioning of continents, such as Lemuria. And they will not always be on a horizontal link. What I'm saying to you, Anne, is that Lemuria still exists as Atlantis, but they are now on a different dimensional link. Where Lemuria is now is that it's here with you, but it's actually a part of the planet Earth in a dimension that you would consider inside the layers of the planet Earth. In other words, to reach that place, you'd have to drill, baby, drill. Because it's down into the crust of the earth. It's relocated as a result of the attack of the children of Canaan on these high sophisticated civilizations that they didn't overstand and thereby feared, and like animals, they attack like they do right now. Whenever they see the paradise sons at work in the earth, the hand of the Most High moving, they attack and try to destroy what they can't understand because they perceive us as enemies. Are you following me?
Yes, I follow. So in other words, they the negative part disappear, and just like we have it now, they've shift. Some parts have just shifted.
That's why you have the wars and rumors of wars, because the heathen is in derision. They're confused in the earth, and they're frightened. For example, by the different changes in the weather and the increasing heat, things they don't understand. And you take a real slob like Donald Trump, when asked about climate change, his eighth answer is, it's not true, it's only a hoax. You follow me? Misdirecting people, you know, like he don't realize that farmers and people in the world can just rationalize that it's getting too damn hot out here. That the storms are too frequent and getting too intense. That emotions are overboiling on the planet. In other words, he's in denial of reality. And people that follow a clown like that, they have gone to war with the people that are awake. In fact, they call it woke, W-O-K-E. And they've determined to attack anybody woke in firm resolution. And that would be the definition of your modern day devil, and they're not always white. Unfortunately, some of them are black as a lump of coal. Are you following me?
Exactly.
And history is repeating itself. They're assailing the truth right now in every way they can by trying to create a separation between you and me. They want to cut the communication to establish or reestablish the barbaric consciousness that they feel comfortable with. You follow me? They don't want you woke because they're eternally asleep, and they will not make the ascension. They are definitely on the path to being left behind, and misery loves company. You follow me?
Indeed.
Right. I want you all to be very clear and not confused about the reality that since you've been walking with me, that you have been waking up, which means they're at war with this mission, externally and internally. All of these ignorant animal-type creatures, these bestial megalomaniacs, and they think it's their responsibility to protect everybody from the real truth with all these fictitious mythological beliefs that they have established as reality in their minds and their twisted psyches, right? And if they band together to establish actual armies of legions of demons that are in firm resolution and commitment to stamp out woke or the truth for the news bearers sent from on high to reestablish that vertical link to the heavens on the horizontal positioning. Are you following me?
Yes.
Right. And by them doing that in the past, it caused continents like Lemuria to sink in the same way that it's caused continental drift, and all of a sudden, in an instant, Africa is coming back together with South America, and the puzzle is being fixed again as one large continent You follow me? Pangea.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. They will always seek to separate Africa from America, but
it's all coming back together. We're all reuniting back into the oneness or the realization of the oneness, even in a geographical sense. It's always been about the oneness and not separation. Them versus us as a mental construct of the primitive ape mind, the reptilian mind. Are you following me? Them as opposed to us. It's just like in your relationship and with the Most High, the Creator. When Tahuti, as a master teacher, knocked on the door of the mansion of the mighty to gain entrance into paradise, the question was asked, who is it? And Tahuti's response is, it's me, implying that it was me on this side of the door and of course you on the other. But that separation was only in his mind. He didn't gain entrance with that perspective. So he went back and studied 500 more years, time which you don't have. Came back a much wiser student, and when knocking on the door of the master of the mighty, when the question was asked, who is it? He said, it's us, not me, as an individual. When he said it was us, and there is no us without you, the door was open because there was no door. In other words, he reached the conscious vibratory level that he and the Creator were one, and there was no separation. There was no religious concept like you on earth and God is up in the stars over the clouds in heaven, a place unproven somewhere else. That's spookism, and it's not real. Everything's in the same place at the same time, vibrating on different frequencies. You follow me, Ann? Everything is one. And therefore, you have to logically do unto your brother and your sister as you would they would do unto you. Because you are your brother and your sister. You follow me?
Yes.
There is no us as opposed to them. There is no fracturing, as the sister Sky was making reference to before. There is no fracturing. It only exists in the mind of the uncivilized. You follow?
Yes.
They imagine there are differences between you and them, and these differences create differences between people. You follow? Wars, etc. You follow? Which causes great civilizations to sink into the earth, and that's not any different than, say, a mass book burning, which the Caucasus has always done historically when he feels the world is reaching a level of consciousness in which they don't understand or overstand, because even though they are technologically advanced in many ways, they imagine building a tower, a physical tower of bricks to a spiritual heaven, which could never happen. So when they see you all having OBEs frequently, or tuning into your higher senses, like intuition, psychometry, telepathy, all these things, they get frightened. Like a child in a dark room, they get frightened. And their response is to attack and destroy that which they don't understand. Are you following me? So they establish laws that create book banning, which is the prelude to book burning. And they stop the teaching of black history. And all these things prevent you all from having the right to vote, which I'm encouraging all of you to go out and vote this time for Kamala Harris. Which I'm not trying to say that she's not part of the established reptilian establishment, but I am saying she is definitely the lesser of two evils. Right?
Yeah.
And not going out to vote, it's like many rapes have happened in the past by somebody making advances towards a woman that was unwilling, but she didn't make her position clear. Because a lot of people take silence as consent, right? So that in this political atmosphere, your non-vote constitutes yes to them. You follow? Your silence means to them consent. Because you have the right to vote and you're not expressing it. And knowingly that historically many people have died for you to have that right. And there's never been a time in which it was more important that you exercise your right to vote than right now. You hear me?
Yeah.
Many of you received some updates from Panabab Yanoon in your last post from me. And I hope that you read it so that in the next class, we'll walk through it together and I'll decipher it for you. Right? But in the meantime, I've been signaled that it's past 10:30, and this is the time that we should all go out and perform our duties as deities and move the stars. That is, all of you that are truly on that upward journey, that journey within, and are serious about this mission. You'll go out and do that, not just for your own self, to reestablish your vertical link from your horizon, your horizontal position, but also to exercise your spiritual muscles and clear up that atrophy, and in order to testify, bear witness to the world, bear witness to that light. So who's going to be the first one to go outside? And will it be you in London? What do you see in the sky?
Oh, it's cloudy.
Okay.
Well, not a lot of... there's some clouds. Oh, I see a large star up in the sky.
Okay, I see it.
Several others, but there's two large ones. Yeah.
Well, fix your
huge.
Concentrate on one of them. And which way are you going to move it? In the name of Amun.
In the name of Amun, move it above. Move it up the star. Going up.
All right. What are you going to do with it now?
In the name of Amun, move it clockwise.
And it's going clockwise.
Mm-hmm.
You see it, Ann?
Yes, I can see it.
All right.
It's
now let me give
quite
you.
quickly.
Okay, let me say something. And what you were involved in right then is an exercise that what you call the devil is unaware of, and all their AI technology could never accomplish a feat that powerful as a deity. Is that clear?
For sure.
Well, that frightens them like a child in a dark room. And whatever they don't understand, what do?
Okay.
They attack it.
Deny.
Like a caveman that's introduced to fire. They're frightened and terrified. You follow me? Because they may seem to be adults and mature as far as electronics. But in the spiritual realm, or the realm of the soul, they're completely non-existent. At which point, I want to inform the class that those of you that are walking with me and are sincerely back-to-back, side-to-side with me, that you're reaching a vibrational level of consciousness that on the frequency, see right then, and when we move in that star, you are vibrating on a frequency that not only do they not understand, but they can't even approach. So that means you are not in the world. You follow me? Because you know, just like I do, that human beings can't move stars. Do you agree?
Exactly.
So that you were something other than just mere human right then. Are you following me?
Yes.
So your responsibility is to maintain that frequency. Because whenever you on that frequency, on that level of consciousness, boom, 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 can't touch this. That means that you can be in the world and you can see on the news where they have wars and rumors of wars, examples of plagues and this and that and the other. But these are only experiences that can't touch you. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're completely safe, rocking in the bosom of the Most High with peace and security reigning on all sides. So you can't be touched by storms or plagues or anything, right? But as a shepherd,
on the other side.
Yeah, but as a shepherd, I know my flock. So I would advise some of you to take the high ground or get behind a rock when they're shooting or whatever, or to put on your mask during a plague, because I know that you may think that you've reached a level of consciousness, but at some level of your consciousness you have doubt and you're at variances with me or the message, which would cause Simon Peter to sink after walking across the water or moving stars. You follow me? In other words, I fear that you're still susceptible or vulnerable to the things of the world. The devil can still touch you. You see?
Yes, indeed.
But while you're moving stars, you vibrate on the frequency as a deity, and where you're out of their reach. You follow me?
Yes.
But I fear oftentimes that the truth is like a religion to people, where they go to church on Sunday and they get that spiritual feeling. As soon as the service is over, they go outside and they see like the white man has everything, and then they fall back to sleep. You follow?
Yes.
And they again become fallen angels.
Done.
Huh?
Yeah, it's easily done. It's easily done
easy
to want everything at the same time. Sorry?
That's right. But you have to establish the reality that you're part of above and not below. In other words, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her punishment and her sins. That you don't experience these plagues and death and all these different things. Because you realize that you're a spiritual being having a physical experience, right? Or a dream. All right, who's going to be next to move a star for us tonight?
I will. This is Anuka.
Okay, Anuka.
We got any new people in here tonight want to move a star?
That's good, June. That's good. Any new people tonight want to move a star?
No.
Go ahead.
All right. In the name of Amun, move up.
Up.
It's moving up. In the name of Amun, drop down. It's dropping down and spell down.
Dropping down.
In the name of Amun, move to the right.